7 o'clock, so we're going to get started. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. This is the 5th in our series of video presentations about various places around the world. And tonight we're excited to be talking about Italy. I'm going to do a really short intro and then I'm going to pass it along. And we're going to have a great presentation about bicycling in Italy. So welcome. If you have questions, you can type them into the chat and we will either answer them at the end of the presentation, or if there's anything that requires more answers and we run out of time, we can answer that with a follow-up email. We're OK Cycle and Adventure Tours. We're a full-service TICO licensed travel agency. We specialize in active vacations. Anywhere in the world that you want to go, we can take you there. We do bicycle tours. We do bike tours where your hotel comes with you. We do trekking and hiking tours. And we do adventure tours. Very brief introduction to the team. Manny, he's the founder and CEO. He started Cycle Adventure Tours in 1995. He's been doing it ever since. I'm Judy, and I'm the office manager. I'm also a licensed travel advisor. Ross Villa is our other licensed travel advisor. And the final member of the team is Howard, and Howard is our controller. He pays the bills, sends the invoices, and keeps us all in order. I'm going to pass things along right now to tonight's speaker. I hope you enjoy the presentation. And like I said, if you have questions, just type them into the chat and we will either deal with them at the end or we'll answer them in a video, in an email later. And Salvatore, I will pass things along to you.
Okay. Thank you. Is my screen now visible?
I don't see it.
Okay, let me try again. Okay, should work now.
Yep.
Perfect. Is it okay?
It is. We see you.
So it's working.
It is working. Yeah.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Salvatore Basile. I'm the country manager of the Italian National Tourist Board in Canada. We're based in Toronto, but we work across the country to promote Italy. We've been doing this for a long time. Been with the Italian Tourist Board for over 20 years. It's a small office. I have with me Sabrina and Mauro. We work on a number of activities. We do marketing, we do campaigns in the digital world, in the printed media. We work with tour operators, travel agents, media to promote our country. So I want to say, first of all, thanks to Manny and Judy for inviting me. It's a great pleasure to be in front of you. So before we talk about cycling in Italy, I wanted to spend a couple of words about the new requirements to enter the country. There have been a few changes in the last 4 weeks, 3-4 weeks. So we heard about the COVID tested flights first at the end of June, where airlines such as Air Canada could board passengers with a negative test, fly to Italy, allow passengers to do a second test, and then if both were negative, passengers could travel in Italy without restrictions, without doing any quarantine or isolation. Now we moved on to a further level with less restrictions. So right now you can board an Air Canada flight, so for a direct flight to Italy, or any other airline with a stopover with a final destination Italy, even without a negative test. So you can just be, if you're fully vaccinated, so that means if you got 2 vaccines, which have been taken at least 14 days before departure, then you're considered fully vaccinated. That will allow you to be considered as a holder of a green pass. So if you're Canadian, you have a green pass without actually having a document with you, just because you have 2 doses of vaccine. It could be 2 different manufacturers, could be AstraZeneca and Moderna, could be Pfizer and Moderna. So as long as you have 2 vaccines, at least taken 14 days before your departure, and then you're a holder of a green pass. You don't do quarantine when you arrive in Italy. You don't need a test before you board the plane. So that's the good news if you wish to travel to Italy. There's no major restrictions other than keeping your mask in closed environments in certain settings. All the Italian regions are now in the white coded color for full lifting of any restrictions. So there's activities as normal. We always, of course, keep an eye on the numbers, but right now it looks good, and we hope it stays that way for a long time. When you come back to Canada, of course, we know that you know better than us that there are some regulations in place. When you come back, you need a PCR test done before you arrive. So as a tourist board, we can provide anybody with a list of facilities where you can take that test before you leave Italy, trying to come back to Canada. Of course, we hope that restriction changes in the coming months or weeks. And so we hope that the new regulations in place will allow more Canadians to visit Italy in the summer. Of course, the 4 vaccines are there are only 4 vaccines accepted. So Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, and AstraZeneca. Those are the 4 major vaccines accepted in Europe and in Italy. There's been a little bit of confusion about the green pass, because in Europe, to have a green pass, you actually have to apply and receive a document with a QR code. You show that and you have a green pass. You can access some locations or facilities. If you're Canadian, you don't have to have a green pass. If you're vaccinated, you're basically considered in possession of a green pass. That's my 5 minutes of summary on the new regulations in place. I hope if you have any questions, of course, you can type them, or you can call us or email us, and we'll be happy to provide more details.
Before you get started with the main presentation, we've had a couple questions in the chat. What do they need to prove they've been vaccinated? Will the OHIP papers do?
So Ontario, I'm talking now, I live in Ontario. I received an email from Ontario Ministry of Health with my vaccination receipt. It says my name, the date of vaccination, the product. It says everything, dose 1, and then I got a dose 2 receipt. Those 2 are valid for Italy. So they're in English or French, so they're valid. English or French or Italian language documents are accepted as a vaccination document. So they're good. You don't need a translation. They will be accepted. I even received questions about the translations. They're not needed. The provincial ministries of health in Canada are the authority considered legal for the Italian authorities to accept a vaccination certificate. So it says that exactly on the newest regulations in place by the Italian Ministry of Health. It says that provincial authorities in Canada have the authority to give you the certificate, and that will be deemed valid at the border.
Super, thank you.
Excellent. Okay, so Italy by bike. So first of all, Italy has a huge variety of settings, geographic landscapes. That is what makes us interesting for cycling lovers. We have steep climbs, hills, flat roads, road, off-road. We have all kinds of itineraries. I think that makes us an interesting place for aficionados of a cycling tour in anywhere abroad. So of all open activities, cycling takes 31% in Italy. So it's an important share of outdoor activities. 61% of cyclists or other people interested are foreigners, especially from the English-speaking world, so US, British, Australians, Canadians, and the remaining 40% are Italians. So over 2 million people in Italy use bicycles as a means of transportation every day. That is an important number, I think. And Italy has been for a long time an important manufacturer of bicycles. Every year, 250 companies produce more than 3 million bikes. Half of them are exported. Many of you might know brand names like Colnago, Bianchi, I don't know. So we've been for a long time a leading manufacturer of bicycles. So what you see here is a general map of the. I divided Italy into 3 pieces: north, central part of Italy, and south. There's 20 regions in Italy. I'm not going to go through all of them. I just picked a few in the north, 1 in the central part of Italy, and a couple in the south. I just want to show you this map for something that is less related to biking, but more to our culture. So as you can see, you can see the regions in different colors. So we're going to talk about Piemonte, in particular the central part of Piemonte, which is the area called Langhe, Monferrato, Roero, which is very interesting for cyclists. You see all regions are enclosed into that black border. And then you see within regions, smaller lines. Those are the provinces of Italy. We call them provinces. There's 100 provinces in Italy. There's 20 regions. So regions were created in 1970. It's a fairly recent creation. Provinces have been there for a lot longer. So the diversity of our culture, language, all traditions can be attributed to the presence of these territorial units, provinces. So you have very, very different situations from one province to another. And the borders of those little districts are rooted in history, less so for the regions, which have been created just more recently for administrative reasons. So we're going to talk about Piemonte. We're going to show you a little bit of Trentino in the eastern part, the northern eastern part, and then Friuli. I have a couple of slides on that, and finally Emilia Romagna. So Langhe, Monferrato, Roero. It looks complicated to pronounce, but it's a very nice area of Italy. Alta Langa, the rolling hills of Monferrato, which are iconically known in Italy for the vineyards, Le Rocche del Roero. We're talking about a wine superpower in Italy. Piemonte has been producing the best wines in Italy for a long time. And therefore, the tours that you can explore here often can border great vineyards. So we call the To Bar Itinerary those circuits that go from Barbaresco to Barolo. That's why we call them Bar to Bar. And of course, Barbaresco and Barolo are the biggest names of Italian wines. They're usually very good wines, typically also in the higher price range. You can cycle through most of those famous vineyards. And I can assure you, it's very interesting. They're very, very interesting. There's a number of medieval villages that are on the major routes, and many of them can be visited without encountering any flow of tourists or other type of traffic. It's a low traffic area. Those regions of Piemonte have been devoted to agriculture and to creating good wines. So the area of Asti, for example, which is the area where a spumante is made, which is spumante, as you know, is a sparkling wine. It's a very interesting area, borders with Monferrato, again, full of small churches and Romanesque art masterpieces. We're moving now to the opposite side of the northern part of Italy. We're going to Trentino Mountains, it's a green area of Italy. Trentino borders with Veneto and with Austria. So it's again another great place for cycling adventures. There is the Dolomites, the Brenta Dolomites, which are part of the UNESCO World Heritage Site list. There is also an area where that borders Lake Garda. There are valleys in the Adamello Brenta Natural Park. There are many off the beaten tracks roads. So we're talking about areas that are not crowded. They're natural settings where you can really wander without finding other people. There's no doubt that this is a very, very pristine setting. There's hundreds of kilometers, routes at all levels. You can go from the beginners to professionals. There's routes for families and even for first timers. There is also a range of local food and wine itineraries that can help you choose. It's a place full of mountains that typically degrade to lakes. So I think the scenery is fantastic. We just put the picture at the bottom can give you a rough idea. Friuli Venezia Giulia, you'll see it on the map. It borders with Austria on the north, Slovenia on the eastern side. It's a place where there are UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Even here you have Dolomites. In the south area, it borders with the Adriatic Sea. So in this region, we chose to highlight the route that goes from Tarvisio to Grado. It's a 175 kilometer route that goes from the Alp of Tarvisio to goes through Udine, Aquileia, Palmanova, and ends in Grado. This is an area very close to Venice, to Veneto and Venice. So it has got that attraction reason as well. Aquileia and Palmanova have interesting archaeological artifacts and sites, which could be a plus if you're interested in history and archaeology. There's a lot of different landscapes even in Friuli Venezia Giulia, and the views are stunning because you go from the high level of Dolomites and you slowly go to the sea level. Emilia Romagna. Emilia Romagna is the region that many of you already might know for the food experience that you can experiment in this region. It borders with Tuscany on the western side, with Marche in the south, and Lombardy and Veneto in the north. So it's at the center of the northern part of Italy. Emilia Romagna has a variety of elevation profiles, so it's interesting for first-timers and professionals or more navigated cyclers. This is the Via Emilia. This is something that cuts the region in a diagonal from Piacenza to Parma, Reggio Emilia, Modena, Bologna, which is the capital of the region. It goes down to Forlì, Cesena, Rimini. Why did we put these names here? Because all these cities are art cities. You can bike through the very city center of that city. There's no traffic restrictions. Ferrara is a famous city for the number of bikers. The population with a bike, using a bike is incredible. I visited Ferrara. Most people move by bike, not by car. Forlì, Cesena, even Bologna, which is one of the largest cities of the region, it's famous for the number of bicycles that are used every day by local residents. So this is, in my opinion, one of the ideal regions for visiting an art city at your own rhythm, with your own schedule. In the most interesting part of this region is the ease of use of bikes in the city centers, and the fact that this region offers the best in terms of wine and food resources. So just to give you an idea, in 1889, someone called Pellegrino Artusi created a cookbook which became famous in Italy around the world. It's called Science in the Kitchen and the Art of Eating Well. So good food in Italy was born in Emilia Romagna. You have some of the most famous products that we know, like prosciutto di Parma or Parmigiano Reggiano, but those are just the best known. Every single city has a way of creating a recipe different from the city next to it. So the same dish can be done in so many different ways, depending on where you go, 20, 15 kilometers away from each other. The central part of Italy, in this part, we only highlight, I just chose to highlight a little bit of Tuscany, that being the easiest region to showcase. But I would say that Umbria and Lazio and Abruzzo also have very interesting cycling routes. Tuscany, most of you know very well that there's basically all kind of cycling routes and possibilities. Gravel bike is what we call strade bianche around Siena. So those are the typical whitish roads that, as you can see at the bottom left part of the screen, it's the well-recognized type of landscape that you will see. Via Francigena is a 400-kilometer route that cuts Tuscany from top to bottom. What is Via Francigena? It's the route that starts from Canterbury in England and ends in the Apulia region, was used by pilgrims in medieval times to send the crusaders to the Holy Land. And now Via Francigena basically cuts across Italy and parts of France and Belgium and whatnot. So the part that concerns Italy stretches hundreds of kilometers. It stretches 400 kilometers in Tuscany. It's a very interesting route. It goes through very small villages. So I think it's an interesting point for Tuscany. And there, of course, there's the coastline of Tuscany that not too many people know. No, it's not very famous, it's not very well known, but the area of Tuscany, the southern part of Tuscany, the Maremma area, borders the Tyrrhenic Sea, and it's very, very interesting, pristine area. Also, the south is very, very appealing for any cycling tour. In this area, we chose to showcase the Apulia region and Calabria, just those two regions. But again, even Campania, Basilicata, and Sicily have great assets in this area. Apulia, it's a peninsula that has hundreds and 2,000 kilometers, actually, 2,000 kilometers of routes. There is a lot of ancient pathways that cut the region in all directions. There are no mountains in this region. It's a flat landscape. So just to give you an idea. And as you know, the major cities are Bari and Lecce. Lecce is the home of Pugliese Baroque art style. So Lecce is known as the Florence of the South because of the pristine, beautiful architecture of the city center of Lecce, and the Baroque has been kept in perfect conditions through the last centuries. So definitely deserves a visit, and biking through the city center is in our opinion, it's a very good idea. But of course, routes can go from Gargano in the north part of the region to the very south, which is Salento. Salento, in the middle, you have places like Molfetta on the coastline, or Alberobello, which is known for the trulli. Many of you might know the conical roofed houses, which are usually white, and they're UNESCO World Heritage Site construction since 1996. Some of the most interesting things, the most interesting thing to do is it's a visit to the Olive Oil Museum. Many of you might know that Puglia is the largest producer of olive oil in Italy. So anywhere you go in Puglia, you'll taste the best olive oil. Molfetta has an old cathedral that definitely deserves a visit. Even Trani, we didn't put Trani on the slide, but the city of Trani on the coast, it's a beautiful location for visitors. Lucera is part of the northern part of Puglia. There's a 900-meter long city wall and defense towers that deserve a visit. There's a beautiful cathedral. There's Roman archaeological sites. And on the opposite side, there's Otranto, which divides the Adriatic Sea from the Ionian Sea. Even here, there is a beautiful cathedral that is unmissable. Calabria is the region where I come from. So this is, I have to confess, I don't have an experience as a biker of these parks, but they have been recently enlarged and have been increased in size, because most of them were very small until 10 years ago. Pollino National Park, the Sila National Park, Le Serre, which is a regional park, and the Aspromonte Park. So Pollino is above, it's 2,000 meters above sea level. From this park, this is it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and there's a huge biodiversity. This is a place that will give you different settings within 30 kilometers, very different settings. From the top of the Pollino National Park, you can actually see the two separate seas on the west and eastern coast of Calabria. It's beautiful. The Sila National Park, with its symbol, which is the wolf, has been recently repopulating in this region. And even here you have an interesting biodiversity. Other two parks, the Serre National Regional National Park, and other parks. We're talking about areas that are not, the density is very low. So the population of Calabria is 1.5 million. We're talking natural settings that are scarcely populated, and you have rugged terrain in some areas, very interesting. The local gastronomy is based on agricultural products, and some products are very famous, like bergamot, for example. It's a citrus fruit that is used for, the English discovered this for Earl Grey. So nowadays, Earl Grey teas are made of bergamot citrus fruits. It's so interesting. But almost every area of Calabria can offer you locally sourced food that are incredibly tasty. Beachitalia.org. We wanted to include this in our slides. This is a network of cycleways that deserves some visit. There's 18,000 kilometers of roads. There's many cycleways of quality that are rated. So basically you can see more in detail what we're talking about in each region. You can see the specific information about them. Why are we interested in cycling tours in general? Well, the Italian National Tourist Board, aside from the fact that we've been sponsoring Giro d'Italia in 2020 and 2021, you don't see it on the slide, but we have been sponsors even this year. We've been participating to the Giro d'Italia with our own team. We've been doing the e-Giro, which is the e-bike competition with our own team. As a tourist board, we think that cycling is one of those activities that really are destined to increase in the future. Is a sustainable type of tourism. It's compatible with the growth of number of tourists, but keeping the local conditions in good shape, or even better than before, because it's a type of tourism that cares about the fact that the area has to remain unspoiled. Usually people who approach this type of tourism care about the local territory and how it's left when they leave. So we think this is a very important part of tourism from Canada especially. We have done webinars about cycling in Italy for a long time. So I would say that if you want, you can double check on italiantourism.com. There is a section for the webinar series called Italy with Friends. On that section, you will see our webinars. They're recorded. They concern many areas of Italy. They talk about Dolomites or Turin, or the Langhe Monferrato Roero, which I just mentioned before. So this is a good chance to, in maybe 45, 50 minutes, have a good understanding of specific areas. They're all run by local tourist boards with us, so there's no specific mention of hotels or accommodation or transportation. You will see local representatives of local tourist boards showcasing specific areas. And that's about it. I just wanted to close this saying that it's a pleasure being here, and I'm open to any questions you might have.
Super, thank you very much. I'm going to, I don't see any questions in the chat right now, but if anyone thinks of anything, they can just let me know and we can answer that. So we're going to finish off with just, oops. We're going to finish off with a few tours that we offer in the area, just to give you some ideas. We have many more. And Manny's going to talk to just a few of these tours. I'm going to pass along to you, Manny.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. And I just saw a note about bike hotels. Italy has a number of bike hotels. There's in the Piemonte area, along the coast, all over. We have access to many of those bike hotels. They usually go with guides, usually a nice facility to be in, good foods and everything else. So I think we have a few of them on our website, not many. But I just want to also, first of all, thank Salvatore for the great presentation. Wonderful, wonderful, man. We have tours in all the areas that was mentioned by Salvatore. Some great tours in Sicily, and of course in Piemonte, I'm going to speak about shortly. So the first one slide you see here is about, we have a number of boat bike tours as well in Italy. This one is from Venice to Mantova, or in the reverse. It's a guided tour. It's blending nature and a number of refined cuisine. There are two different boats basically that do this tour. One starts in Venice or in Mantova, or starts the other way. They go one way 1 week and the next way the other week. The Ave Maria is the larger of the two boats that do this. It's about 17 cabins. The Vita Tulip, it's a smaller one. It's very, very wonderful way to see many things on the route. And of course, the guide will bring you into all sorts of different special things along the route, whether it's a fishing village or whether it happens to be the cheese farm where famous cheese is, and you get a chance to wine taste. It's just a very nice way to sort of get a tour along the Po River. Po River is one of the larger rivers, longer rivers in Italy. It starts up in the north and goes out by Venice out into the Adriatic. So it is a wonderful, wonderful way to sort of visit that, and you get an idea of what they had to do in order to try to control the flow of the Po River, because sometimes it overflows, and what happens is the wind all around it. So a lot of work has been done on that, just as they're doing water work, trying to control the amount of water that goes through Venice. besides the tour of Venice itself. So it really is a wonderful way to get an introduction. Good flights directly into Venice, by the way. So it makes it very easy to do, and it's easy to take the train from Venice to Mantova or the other way around, depending on where the tour ends up. So that's the first one. Now, Piemonte, which was mentioned, this is a hotel-based tour. Yeah, what that means is the hotel is where you stay every night, so your luggage doesn't get moved. On the boats, of course, your luggage is in your cabin, and it's there for the whole amount of time. The boat bike tours come with all the food, both breakfast and dinner, and you pack your own lunch, which you take with you. So it's really wonderful. There's e-bikes available as well as regular bikes on all these tours. So that's an overview of that. With Piemonte, you can see the hotel. That's just a beautiful part of Italy. This one is an 18th century building with its own area, swimming pool, and every day you choose what direction you want to go in. It's self-guided, so the best thing to do is sort of pick out what you want to do, and you always come back to the hotel. So it really is a nice way to sort of visit with your luggage being always in your own room. And all the details are obviously on our website. We have them in Tuscany. We have them in all in the Lake Garda area, a number of different areas. So we have the one hotel bike tours. So it's a very easy thing. You don't have to worry about anything because you don't want to go one day, you just stay in the room. So it's really a nice way to have that option, and a lot of people enjoy that because there's not the pressure of anything specific. So that's the one hotel-based tours. And now this is about our sail and boat tour in the Tuscany region, which was mentioned by Salvatore. And this is in a tall ship, so it's got 14 sails. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. It either comes guided or self-guided, and again, all your meals are included in this one as well. You get a chance to visit and see lots of that area, as well as some ports, because the boat does go on the sea itself. So it's we have a number of cycling tours in Tuscany as well, but this is one of the boat bike tours we offer. And oh, by the way, the dates for the one from Venice to Mantova is already 2022 tour prices, as well as dates, as well as this one here. So it's really a wonderful way to sort of have meet all sorts of new people on these boat bike tours as well, because they're with you during the whole week, and it's always fun to see different people from different parts of the world that have signed up for this. It really is friendships are made for long periods of times because everyone wants to be happy cycling. So the next one is a hiking tour that is just on the edge of just north of this, and it's called Cinquetery. It's a hiking tour, and it's named after the 5 picturesque villages that are in that area. It's a major national park, and you can see from the picture how incredibly how she put outstanding that they have to do the building of these villages. It's a very popular hiking tour. The distances aren't that long, and it's very, very wonderful to it's a way the world goes with hiking. It's a special way of seeing these picturesque villages, and it just, the footpath goes through an area that walks from village to village between forest and vineyards, and you get a spectacular terraced landscape overlooking the sea. So it's really these 5 charming villages that make up the Cinquetery. And that goes any day as well. So the Amalfi Coast, we have this in hiking as well as this is about the cycling aspect. And it is a beautiful, beautiful part of Italy. It's on the east coast of Italy, just along the between Naples, beautiful Bay of Naples, and it goes south from there. And it's known for its Indian villages and town of Sorrento, which was mentioned earlier. It's hidden areas to see, as you can see, small hidden natural reserves, ancient paper mills, wild mountain scenery, and only a small distance away from busy touristy centers waiting to be explored by the traveler. So this is still in the 2021, but we obviously will be posting it for 2022. And if anyone's interested in any of these tours, please email us, and we'll be happy to provide you with details on any of them if you don't see the newest ones on our website. And we have, I don't know, Judy, how many tours from Italy do we have roughly on our website?
Oh, I don't know. Trick question. A lot. I would
There's
say
60 or 70, I think.
I was going to say like 60, 70. I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, no, we have a good all sorts of tours, both road bike, as well as there's some good road bike ones, good long distance road bike ones for those that want to be challenged a bit, as well as easy ones. So there's all sorts of them, and if it's something you don't see, please take the time to email us a note, and we'll dig out something that's going to be workable for you. It's our pleasure to look after people, and that's what our aim is as a travel agency that specializes in all these different types of adventure and outdoor tours. So that's what I have to say. I thank everyone for watching the webinar and for everyone signing up for it. And hopefully we'll see everyone again on our next one, which is going to be in September on the Czech Republic. So thank you very much, and back to you, Judy.
So we've got a couple questions here, one of which you may be able to answer, but I can't answer it off the top of my head. How much of the Malta to Venice tour is on dedicated cycle paths?
Which one? Venice to Mantova?
Yeah.
It's on quiet roads mostly. Some of it is along the Po River. But it's on cycle paths as well. So it's a whole combination of all sorts of things, and it's just incredible to see all the different things. And I'll mention Mantova as an example. It was mentioned by Salvatore to some extent earlier, that sort of was a town where the starts or finishes, and it's got an incredible cathedral. It goes back into the 1500s, 1400s, 1500s, and it's just interesting to see all this. And you get part of that is one of the guided tours from the boat itself of that part. So a lot of guided tours of some of the towns or cities that you're going to be cycling through. So it's not just it makes it more interesting because you get a chance to get a feel of what the culture was established in that. And Mantova, for example, was looked after for a long period of 500 years by a family itself, and they left a very positive mark in that particular village or town.
And the second question we have is, does biking in Tuscany require an advanced level of fitness? And I'll answer that. It depends on the tour. We have all kinds of different tours in Tuscany, so some of them you need to be more fit than others. An awful lot of tours these days also include the possibility of using e-bikes. So if you want to go on the tour and somebody that you're biking with wants to do a little more and someone wants to do a little less, an e-bike is a really good way to make that work.
I saw that.
And then the next question we have here is the next Zoom. We're not doing one in August because we've decided it's summer and it's hot. But in September, we'll be doing one about the Czech Republic. And That will be in the
24th.
next newsletter, and you can, if you want to be signed up for it, you have NASA ready, just send me an email and I will add you to the list for that.
September 24th, I believe, Judy.
I think it's 20, I'll look it up. It's the 22nd, so it's September 22nd.
Thank you.
If there's no more questions, thank you everyone for joining us. Have a lovely evening, and hopefully it'll cool down a little so you can all go out for a bike ride tomorrow. I don't know about you guys, but it's kind of hot for cycling right now. The world's opening up. Hopefully we'll see you all in Italy. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.